So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, I have the last presentation, so you're probably very tired. I'm really happy you're here. So because you're still tired, and I'd like to make this presentation, I appreciate more action in this presentation. I would be happy if you are more interactive. So if you have any questions, just raise your hand and don't hesitate to ask. Okay, so firstly, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Pavol Luptak. I'm from Slovakia, but at this time I live in Prague. I'm a crypto-anarchist. You know what is crypto-anarchy or crypto-anarchist? So I'm crypto-anarchist means that I believe that crypto technologies can provide us completely new kind of personal and economical freedom. I'm also voluntarist, what means that I believe that any relationships between humans, for example, in any relationship, should be always mutually voluntary. So for example, I'm against taxation because it's a one-way relationship. And I'm focused on technology and society hacking. I'm also the organizer of the International Crypto-Anarchistic Conference, Hackers Congress Probably Police. If I have some time, I can tell you more information about this upcoming event. We are organized during the first weekend of October. And then I'm founder of few IT security businesses. The first company is Netemba. We are a Slovak penetration testing company. Do a lot of web application testing and mobile application testing in Slovakia, Czech Republic, even in Poland. And a few months ago, with my friends, I started a new startup which is called Hack Trophy, which is quite a unique project. It's a bug bounty program, similar to HackerOne. So if you're a hacker and you are using some bug bounty programs, you should definitely check our new bug bounty program, hacktrophy.com. I also co-founded two hackerspaces. The first one in Bratislava called Progress Bar, the second one in Prague called Probably Police. And I like contemporary art, so I'm also the member of Czech contemporary anti-government artistic group called Stahoven. 3 years ago, as a member of Stahoven, I had one presentation at the conference. So what you should expect from my presentation? So my goal is to explain to you that thanks to the government institution like FBI, NSA, CIA, we have really secure crypto markets. We have advanced crypto market with the technologies like decentralization and true anonymous cryptocurrencies like Monero or Bitcoin. So my first question is, how many of you are using Bitcoins? Raise your hand, don't hesitate. Cool. How many of you have ever visited crypto market? Perfect. How many of you have already used Monero? Okay, which is true anonymous cryptocurrency. How many of you used some other true anonymous cryptocurrency like Zcash? Okay, fine. So security of crypto markets is a really sensitive topic. The thing is that you cannot provide legal IT security consultation to crypto markets because the main activity of crypto markets is strictly illegal. Another thing is that the security of crypto markets is much more important than the security of banks, for example, or banking application. Because if you have bad security in some banks, probably some people steal your money. That's all. But in case of crypto markets, 1,000 people, many often innocent people, would end up in jail. So this is a really big problem. And so doing any research about security of crypto markets is not very popular. And personally, I didn't find any serious IT security paper. What I can tell you, because I did my personal analysis, the research of security crypto markets, I can tell you that the security of some of them are even better than security of many Google applications or popular social network. So let's begin with the first truly most famous crypto market, which is Silk Road version 1. So this crypto market was really big success. So it had revenue more than $1 billion and almost $80 million in commission. But despite of this, the Silk Road market was not very secure. It was a single server, no decentralization. As you know, now we have a fully decentralized crypto market. I'm going to present it later. It was quite shitty, vulnerable PHP application. There was no two-factor authentication, no multisig. And of course, in that time, we had only Bitcoins. So there were no true anonymous cryptocurrency support. But despite of all these things, it took 2 years for FBI to track down the identity of the server and shut down the given server. So sometimes operational security can save your life. Yeah, Ross Ulbricht, you can see him at this photo, end up in jail, in Manhattan jail, for double life, which basically means that theoretically, if some government decided to remove one life sentence, he still will have another life sentence. Okay. So now I would like to describe in more details security characteristic of the current crypto markets and compare it with the first version of crypto markets and how it was significantly improved compared with the Silk Road market version 1. So firstly, almost all crypto markets implement two-factor authentication. So you don't need to follow PCI DSS if you're a crypto market. I mean, almost all biggest crypto markets, like Alphabet, for example, or Outlaw, they really require 2FA, two-factor authentication. For two-factor authentication, almost always is used PGP private key owner verification. So it works in such a way that the given crypto market just generates some seed, some random value. This random value is encrypted with your public PGP key, and you need to download the given encrypted file, try to decrypt it with your private key, and if you're able to decrypt it with your private key, you can prove that you are the true owner of the given public PGP key. So it also basically means that if you want to register to any crypto market, you need to upload your public PGP key. So it's really necessary and mandatory for most crypto markets. Another thing is that two-factor authentication in case of crypto markets is not implemented like OTP. So if you use Bitcoin services, a lot of Bitcoin services or cryptocurrency services, you probably know Google Authenticator, which is pretty nice tool. But in case of crypto markets, forget about this. Because crypto market developers, they still do not trust OTP. They're quite conservative. So PGP, private key verification, is the only way how you can verify yourself using 2FA. Forgotten password. Another problem and another difference between the crypto markets and classical eShop is that when you register to classical eShop, you need to put your email address. This is not the case of crypto markets because no one knows your true identity. So instead of your email address, during the registration, you need to remember your mnemonic phrase, which is generated during the first login. So we need to remember or store this mnemonic phrase, and then it's the only way how you can ask or how you can change forgotten password. AntiDDS protection. So like Tor hidden services, most crypto markets use Tor hidden services. Some crypto markets use I2P hidden services. I2P is protocol I will mention later, but I2P is quite similar to Tor. There are some differences. Anyway, like Tor hidden services are quite often under very strong distributed denial of service attacks. It also means that if you are the government and you have compromised a lot of exit nodes, Tor exit nodes, you are able to able to intercept all communication on these exit nodes. You're able to measure this communication on exit nodes at various ISP. And thanks to this, you can make some statistical analysis and try to compromise Tor security. So this is technically possible. This is also potentially possibly one of the ways how FBI was able to detect Ross Ulbricht. So at this time, many crypto markets that have a special AntiDDS protection is usually CAPTCHA. As you know, if you're a penetration tester, ethical hackers, you know that all CAPTCHAs can be easily cracked. And also many crypto markets, for example, the biggest one, Alphabay, it uses double Tor security. So one Tor connection is encapsulated to another connection. And if you are a trusted seller or if you are a trusted buyer at some crypto market, usually you have a separate Tor hidden service address, especially for you, which is different as the public Tor hidden service address, which is under distributed denial of service attack. So this is a great way how you can easily buy or sell some stuff, despite the fact that the given crypto market is under strong distributed denial of service attack. Contracts. Contracts it's another interesting security feature that basically you can make some kind of agreement between sellers and buyers using the property which is called contract. Each contract costs $5 to initiate. You need to pay this amount to the administrators. So there are also quite strict ethical rules. So for example, hitmen, murderers are never allowed. Multisig. Multisig is another interesting feature of the current crypto markets. The problem is that when some government agency like FBI, NSA shut down your crypto market, usually they can steal all your Bitcoins or Moneros or any cryptocurrency you use. So that's why we have Multisig, which basically means that the given transaction is successful when at least 2 sides from 3 sides successfully sign the given transaction. So even if some secret agency, government agency shut down the crypto market, because when you're using Multisig, they are not able to take the crypto market money. I don't have a time to go deeper, but this exact description of how Multisig works in case of Alphabay, which is probably one of the most developed, one of the most secure crypto market in the world. Tumble your Bitcoins. The problem of Bitcoin is that many people think that Bitcoin is anonymous. That's not true. Bitcoin is pseudo-anonymous because Bitcoin has a public blockchain. In a public blockchain of Bitcoin, you can see all transactions. The only thing is that there is no connection between reality and so you have no idea who owns the given private key, but you can see all signed transactions in Bitcoin blockchain. So for example, if some government agents reveals physical identity of some person, they're able to map it to the given Bitcoin address, and subsequently they're able to correlate it with some other buyers, sellers, and so on, and they are able to hunt other people involved in the crypto market. So basically, Bitcoin is not secure. Bitcoin is not anonymous. So if you want to have anonymous Bitcoins, you need to laundry your Bitcoin. So there are a lot of laundry services. I use, like, in a more formal way, we used to call them mixing services. And I mentioned 2 famous ones, Bitblender, Helix. But my favorite way of mixing is definitely through Monero. So if you have some Bitcoin and you need to give up your transaction Bitcoin history, firstly, I recommend you to change your Bitcoin to Monero. There are at least three ways how you can do that. For example, you can use Shapeshift, which is altcoin exchange service. You can use Poloniex, or you can use any altcoin exchange service. And then you can use service which is called xember.to and change your Monero to the Bitcoin. So finally you receive completely new Bitcoin that have history which cannot be associated with you as a physical person. Okay. Now I would like to tell you something more about Monero. Personally, I'm a big fan of Monero because Monero is a nice example of truly anonymous cryptocurrency. Truly anonymous cryptocurrency means that when you just see to the Monero blockchain, for the random observer, it looks like random data. You know nothing. Because you need your private key, you need to use your private key to scan the whole Monero blockchain to find out transactions which are for you and which not. So what basically means that Monero at this time, there is no SPV wallet. So you need to download the whole Monero blockchain. It can be a pain because Monero blockchain at this time has about more than 40 gigabytes. But if you stay anonymous, there is no other way to do that. Anyway, so Monero uses something which is called ring signatures. And thanks to the ring signatures, it is not possible to reveal senders of your Monero. Basically, it works in such a way that, I would like to compare the ring signature to the situation that imagine that there are like some military or some politician, they have to do some very unpopular decision. For example, they want to start a third world war, but no one wants to be responsible for this bad decision or unpopular decision. So what they do, they all of them they use their private key to sign the given decision. So for example, 10 different politicians use 10 private keys to sign one decision. And what they do, they just create ring signatures. So technically it's not possible to reveal who is responsible behind this decision. You are able just to estimate the probability or likelihood of the given how likely is that the given politician signs the given decision. So in that quite similar way, it works in case of Monero ring signatures. Another thing is stealth addresses. Stealth addresses are also the great way how you can completely anonymize recipients of your blockchain transaction. So it basically means the difference, for example, between Bitcoin and Monero is that in the case of Monero, your Bitcoin address is just hash of your some kind of hash of your public key. In this situation, your Monero address is plus your recipient address encrypted with the public key. So basically, you need your private key to reveal which transaction are exactly for you, and you need this information also if you want to spend this transaction. So this probably a bit older Monero charts. Now the current price of Monero is about $30. Personally, I expect that the price of Monero will be much higher in the following month, especially when Bitcoin will be or when Bitcoin is prohibited in many countries, and when there will be some more usable application with a better user interface and hardware wallet support. Okay. Inline PGP encryption and PGP webmail client. So it's necessary to realize that all crypto markets have access to your public PGP key and your key, your storage. So many crypto markets allow you to set option which is called automatic message encryption, and it means that all messages inside your crypto market mailbox is fully encrypted by your public key, so only you, as the owner of your private key, can decrypt all messages in your mailbox. Sometimes I also found that some crypto markets they try to implement PGP webmail client, which is a really crazy idea. What basically means that you need to provide your private PGP key directly to the browser. The browser will store your private PGP key using HTML5 storage. And so basically, you can interactively decrypt and sign your messages inside of your browser. I strongly not to recommend to do something like this because, as we know, browsers are just too complex, and complexity means automatically vulnerabilities, a lot of vulnerabilities. So never put your private PGP key to the browser. Now I would like to describe some best practices when you want to use crypto markets as a client. So if you have bitcoins or if you have some cryptocurrency, it's really easy to pay fully anonymous VPN. So the best combination is just encapsulate Tor connection inside to some anonymous VPN. Also, all good crypto markets, they do not use JavaScript. And better crypto markets ask you explicitly to disable JavaScript. Because, as we know, historically, a few years ago, there were really critical zero-day exploit in Windows version of Firefox. And NSA, FBI, American government agencies use these vulnerabilities to reveal true identity of Tor users. Another option is use Tails. Tails is a specific privacy-aware Linux distribution used by many journalists in many dictatorship countries. Sometimes it is also possible to use BitMessage, for example, and of course you can also try to run the MAC addresses, try to hack some wireless network, something like that. For example, in Slovakia and Czech Republic, there is an Android application which is called Router Key Losek, and you can use this application to hack UPC Wi-Fi network. Server-side security. Okay, so you are on the opposite side. You are administrator and the owner of the crypto markets. So what you should do to take care about security? So firstly, all server should always use full encryption, ideally with a hidden volume. This may be a bit complicated because many servers use virtualized server housing. So usually when you want to pay server housing using Bitcoins, you get not a physical server, but you get a virtualized server. So you need to be aware of this security issue. Of course, when you are admin, you should leave no traces. So when you try to connect to a crypto market, you should always use Tor to access the virtual machine. As I mentioned, there are crypto markets like Alphabet. They use double Tor security. And double Tor security can be a problem sometimes because it exposes the connection to the evil exit nodes. And of course, if you are a crypto market owner, you should definitely store your Bitcoins and Monero on completely different server. Ideally, you should use something what is called cold wallets. Now, I'd like to describe some decentralized crypto markets. At this time, there is multiple decentralized crypto markets proposal, but the only fully functional one is OpenBazaar project. So in the following month, there should be released version 2, which fully supports IPFS, which works over TCP connection, which works over Tor. And the Tor support is even now integrated in GitHub of OpenBazaar. There is also probably the most serious competitor to Open Bazaar project, which is called Shadow project. Before it was Umbrella project, and now this project was renamed to the project Particle.io. Okay. Now I like to compare some technical differences or security differences between Tor and I2P. Like I2P protocol seems to be more secure than Tor. The difference is, for example, that in case of I2P is a fully decentralized, but this can be a problem because if you have, in case of Tor, you have so-called Tor directory servers. So there are only 7 or maybe 10 important Tor directory server, and if you just run your Tor browser, you firstly contact the Tor directory server, and Tor directory server provides you 3 different nodes: the entry node, middle node, and the exit node. In the case of I2P, you can contact any node in the I2P networks and ask for the given nodes, which basically means that if there is some secret government agencies, they infiltrate into I2P and you contact them, they can provide you three infiltrated I2P nodes. Anyway, the problem of I2P compared to Tor is that I2P network has only few nodes. So it doesn't matter that I2P, from the security point of view, is a bit better protocol. The problem is there are only few I2P nodes. And you cannot achieve true anonymous network if you have only few nodes. So this is the biggest problem of I2P. Also, when you want to make distributed denial of service of I2P network, it's much more complicated than in case of Tor. And another advantage of I2P may be that government agencies like NSA, FBI, and CIA, they still don't have enough information about I2P because most people still use Tor instead of I2P. So I think if there are some zero-day exploits against anonymization networks, it's quite likely that these zero-day exploits are against Tor, not I2P, because Tor is used only by few people. Crypto market best practices. So if you're an ordinary user, you want to use crypto markets, you should definitely use Multisig. You should definitely use two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication is mandatory in case of Alphabet or Outlook. Also, your PGP is mandatory. So always during the registration, you need to upload your PGP key. Some crypto markets disallow the feature which is called finalize early. What basically means that you are not waiting if the given product arrives to you or if the given service is provided to you. You can finalize early the given transaction, and the provider or seller of the given service receives your money a few days earlier. So I don't recommend, if you are a newbie in case of crypto markets, I strongly not recommend you to use this feature finalize early. Also, be aware that Bitcoin is not anonymous cryptocurrency. The biggest crypto markets use Monero, or they use Ethereum. Ethereum is also not a true anonymous cryptocurrency. Monero is true anonymous eCash. Also, there are some alternatives like Zcash, Zcoin, or Dash, but none of them are implemented in crypto markets. Currency account it's not a security feature, it's a functionality feature, which basically means that if you don't trust cryptocurrencies, for example, because of their huge volatility, you can store your cryptocurrency like Monero, for example, or Bitcoin in so-called currency account, which means that you have stored your cryptocurrency in a fiat money, in euros or dollars, something like that. You just need to pay 50% for such service. Dead drops. This is something absolutely cool, I think, which basically means that the traditional approach, when you want to order something from the crypto market, some medicine, some drugs, anything, you need to provide your physical postal address where the given stuff is finally signed. Dead drops basically means that when you order some stuff from the crypto markets, you pay it by Monero. You don't need to provide any physical address. You just receive two information. You receive GPS coordinates and 360 degrees panoramic video. So you just go to the given place, specific according to your GPS coordinates. You play your panoramic video, and you know exactly where the given stuff is physically stored. So there are a special reseller on crypto markets, which are called dropment. It means basically anonymous delivery boy. And these people are responsible for buying a lot of stuff and distributing it to different places. Of course, it's only a question of time when these physical people, like human people or human beings, will be replaced by drones. This some deep.com crypto market comparison. This is changing over time, so you can check the current information. Anyway, so what we can say is that security of crypto markets has been significantly improved, and it was caused by the government shutdown. So every time when the government agency shut down any crypto market, the next version is more secure, more anonymous, more decentralized. And we can see that the biggest crypto markets like Alphabet, Dream Market, Owl Market, and all these biggest markets, they're online for many years without any shutdown. So what does it mean? It means that the war on drugs purely technically cannot be won. And also we can see that crypto anarchists with the crypto markets are always one step ahead to the government. So in the crypto market, we can see very clear that the government intervention makes crypto market more resilient, more robust. So despite the fact that we spend millions and millions, euros, dollars, zlotys to fight the drugs, this doesn't work. And there are more and more sophisticated ways to buy and sell drugs. And I would like to tell you something more about our place we started in Prague. So crypto anarchists are real. In Prague, 4 years ago, we started the unique crypto anarchistic place, which is called Paralelní polis. It's in the center of Prague, called Holešovice. So we rented three floors building. The first ground floor is a Bitcoin cafe. The second floor is a co-working space, and the third floor is the Institute of Crypto Anarchy. This place is unique that we do not accept any government money. We accept only Bitcoins or some cryptocurrency. So if you want to buy coffee, beer, anything, you need to have Bitcoins or some other cryptocurrency. This is the place, Paralelní polis. It looks, it's completely black. And why should you visit this place? You should visit this place just because during the first weekend of October, from 6th until 8th of the October, there is International Hackers Congress, which is called Paralelní polis Congress 2017. The topic of this Congress is Liberate. Subtopic is Towards Your Financial Freedom. And this Congress will be specifically focused on true anonymous cryptocurrencies. So I personally invited Monero core developer, Zcash core developer, Zcon core developer, and also people behind other interesting projects, behind decentralized market and exchanges. And now I would like to read you the crypto anarchistic manifesto, especially for this Congress I wrote. And it's real digital privacy, start with the protecting your financial transactions, leaving no traces, making impossible to see or intervene your voluntary economical interaction. With the rise of anonymous cryptocurrencies, for the first time in our human history, we can do a global business and stay anonymous. Anonymous prediction markets, anonymous anti-government insurance, anonymous crowdfunded whistleblowing, decentralized crypto markets, all these crypto technologies will undermine the current authoritative systems and make the significant change, silently, with no violence or politician. It's time, liberate yourself. Thank you a lot. Okay, time for questions. Ask.
Do you think that in the nearby future, anonymous cryptocurrencies could be forbidden by the governments?
Okay, so anonymous cryptocurrency can be forbidden by the governments by the same way as marijuana, for example. So it will not work at all. You know exactly how marijuana prohibition works in Poland. I think all weed smokers, they have access to marijuana, and basically what you can do as a government, you can just say, okay, as a company, you cannot officially accept Monero or anonymous cryptocurrency. But technically, there is no way how to shut down.
Technically, it's not possible, of course, but for example, nowadays I am facing the problem when I'm talking with the people that somebody is saying that if you are trying to hide your financial data, the government will think that probably you have something to hide.
Yeah. But this is also the problem. The question is if we deserve absolute digital privacy or not. Because, for example, personally, I'm a proponent of absolute digital privacy, which means I think we have also right to protect our financial transaction, even against the government or tax office, because it's our right. So, because most people think they have right to protect only their communication, for example. So everybody here uses, for example, end-to-end encryption, HTTPS, Signal, and all these protocols. But not everyone here thinks that we also have a right to absolute digital privacy, and it includes also the privacy to our financial transaction. So what I want to tell you, what the government can do, they can demonize the cryptocurrencies. They're already doing that, by the way, especially anonymous amounts. But I think it will have completely opposite effect. So, for example, in Venezuela, there is hyperinflation. So many people, like IT people in Venezuela, they started to buy bitcoins because Venezuela pesos doesn't have any value. So the Venezuela government decided to ban the bitcoins. And technically, it just means that 4 times more people in Venezuela started to buy bitcoins. So it had completely different effect. So what I can tell you, if the Polish government or European government officially starts to prohibit Monero or some other true anonymous cryptocurrencies, everybody starts to use Monero. So it has opposite effect, especially if it's not technically possible to detect that you have some Monero or that you send some Monero to someone else because everything is encrypted. Okay, some other questions.
I have a question because my smartphone only has 8 gigabytes of memory, and when it comes to Monero, as I assume, I have to own a whole blockchain on my device. And Bitcoin, I don't have to do that. And how you can solve it? Because, for example, when I go to your cafe in Prague, I have to go there with my 1 terabyte hard drive, and that's not the case, I think.
Yeah, this is a problem, because in case of Monero, it's not technically possible to implement SPV wallet like you have Mycelium, for example, for Bitcoin in case of iOS or Android. So this is a technical problem. For example, now you have Monero wallet on Android system, also on iPhone system, but but it's completely online system, so you need to provide your private Monero key. You need to provide your private key to some third party, and I strongly do not recommend to use this application. So this is still in progress. I think the better phones, they have more gigabytes. So for example, in 1 or 2 months, there will be OnePlus, the geeky phone, OnePlus 5 with 256 gigabytes. So on this phone, you can easily download the whole Monero blockchain. But I admit that this is a problem. But it's only a question of time then we will have a much better hardware for using Monero. For example, Zcash has even more hardware requirements than Monero, because when you are using Zcash, you need at least 8 gigabytes of RAM to sign transactions, so it's really memory consuming. Another question?
Hi. Let's say I would like to buy beer in your institute in Prague, so I have to pay in a Bitcoin or Monero. Mm-hmm. The question is, does the price include tax?
Yeah, as I know, okay, so we are non-profit, non-government, non-commercial organization, which basically means that we are not VAT payer. So this is the first thing. So we don't pay VAT officially, and then all our profits we invest. So basically, we don't have profit, and because we don't have profit, we don't pay taxes in a completely legal way. And there was also the question. Okay.
Because I think that when it comes more public or something like that, if every cafe on the world will be bought by the Monero, the blockchain will grow very, very high, and I personally think that the hardware will never be as good as to store the whole blockchain if it will become popular.
I think this is not a problem at all. Like, for example, Monero, compared to Bitcoin, has dynamic blocks. So for example, in case of Bitcoin, you have 1 megabyte blocks, and these blocks are really full, as you can see. So in case of Bitcoin, you need to pay really high fees when you want to pay in Bitcoins. But this is not a problem of Monero, because Monero has dynamic elastic blocks. So even more user will use Monero, longer blocks Monero will have. And also it means the transaction for the transaction fee will be lowered. This opposite in case of Bitcoin. More people use Bitcoin, higher fees are, because the block is just 1 megabyte. In case of Monero, more people use Monero, lower fee is for one transaction. Another thing is that there is a Moore law. According to Moore law, I mean, every 1.5 year, the capacity of disk and RAM are doubled, something like that, which basically means that if this law is still valid, the cryptocurrencies will not have any problems in the futures.
Yeah, could you have your blockchain in a cloud storage? So the Monero blockchain will be on a cloud storage like Dropbox or something like that. And in this way, you don't have to have it on your phone, on your computer.
Yeah, it's technically possible, but the problem is that for the first time, you need to completely scan the given blockchain. So you need download the blockchain. Okay, maybe not the whole one, but the part of the blockchain. So for example, if Monero blockchain has 40 or 50 gigabytes, and you have a mobile application, you can have it on the Dropbox or something, but you need physically download, for example, each megabyte of this 50 gigabytes blockchain to your phone, try to decrypt it with your private key, reveal if the given transactions are for you or not, and then throw it away. So yes, something like this is possible, but you still need to download 50 gigabytes to your, because you cannot, the problem is that you cannot you don't want to provide your private key to the cloud or some third party, and you want to you want to make decryption operation on your phone. Okay. Other question?
Yeah, one question. You talked about the taxes. You are not paying taxes on that, but let's say I would like to have a commercial cafe taking bitcoins or Monero, and I want to pay taxes on that. Yeah. So how to account that? Yes, there is probably no official exchange rates between normal currency and this. So maybe this can be viewed as government way of preventing the wide acceptance of cryptocurrencies by businesses, because it's just too much hassle to deal with this in accounting. Yeah? So maybe maybe there are some initiatives to make it more. How would you make it more popular among, let's say, commercial business venues?
Like technically, there is no difference between physical anonymous cash, like physical zlotys, like paper coins, and Monero, which is the same anonymous. It's just e-cash. It's an anonymous e-cash. So in the similar way, how you accept your invoices paid in cash to your accounting. I think you should, in the similar way, you should accept invoices paid by Monero, which is also cash. Okay, consider Monero like an e-cash, anonymous e-cash like the normal physical cash. So from this point of view, there should not be difference. But it also means, the problem is that, for example, in European Union, we have limits for cash transaction. For example, in Slovakia, we have limited 5,000 euros for cash transaction for a legal person, like companies, and 15,000 euros for a physical person. So, for example, in Slovakia, when you want to send or when you want to charge some company for something, you cannot pay in case of invoices above of 5,000 euros in cash. It's prohibited. So the problem is how the European legislation or Polish legislation cope with this problem. If they consider Monero to be like a cash, the same limits should apply to Monero. But if they consider like an electronic transaction, no such limit should be applied. And the thing is that no one knows. I can tell you, if you contact any lawyers in Poland or Slovakia, Czech Republic, no one knows. So what we should do, we should just try it, and we'll see what will happen. I have no idea. No one knows. Okay, there is a question.
Probably last question.
Hi. If you want to run a business like you have this with this cafe and anything, you have your bills. Yeah, you have to pay for water. You have to buy coffee beans. Mm-hmm. Even if you want to have all your income in Monero, mm-hmm. you have to exchange some money to physical fiat money in order to cover your bills. How do you solve this problem?
We use a lot of exchanges. So there are a lot of cryptocurrency exchanges. I think in parallel Polis there is an internal community of people who have two different problems. One of them, they need to buy bitcoins. The other group, they need to sell bitcoins. So we do exchanges inside of our community, which means it can be done in completely anonymous way. But if you have no such community of people using crypto, there are many ways how to do that. You can use Bitstamp, you can use Kraken, you can use Bitfalla, a lot of different services to exchange your cryptocurrency, even for example Monero, to fiat money, to zlotys, for example. So this is technically solvable problem quite easily.
Last question. For example, if you want to send the money to Kraken, let's say, and you want to exchange your fiat money to Bitcoin, you need to set the title when you are sending this money. And at the end of the title, you have the suffix like kraken.com or coinbase.com, which is you can easily then identify that this payment was made to Coinbase, for example. So do you see here any kind of possibilities to violate your privacy, like by a bank or something like that?
Yeah, so if you're paranoid, you should definitely not use these officially exchange services. What you can do, you can use local bitcoins. I'm not sure if you know local bitcoins, which is it's the list of dealers, buyers, and sellers of bitcoins or some other cryptocurrency. So we can easily find who in Krakow or in Warsaw sells bitcoins or some other cryptocurrency. But the problem is that that local Bitcoin as well as Kraken is also regulated by the government. And fortunately, we have a solution, and the solution is a fully decentralized crypto exchange, and it's called BitSquare. So check the website, bitsquare.io. It's a fully decentralized crypto exchange which cannot be technically regulated by the government, and when you use it, you can do that in quite anonymous way.
The last quick question. According to the local Bitcoin, for example, let's say there was a scam and someone on the local Bitcoin is in possess of Bitcoins that come from scam, let's say, and he wants to sell those Bitcoins on local Bitcoins, and you buy those Bitcoins, and then you want to transfer them somewhere, let's say, to Kraken, and Kraken can detect that it was from a wallet that took part in a scam, and they are going to block your account or whatever. So is it that case? Is it possible? Is it happening? There are threads on Reddit, but actually it's not easy to guess if it's true or not.
Yeah. For example, because Bitcoin blockchain is public, it's quite easily to detect that the given Bitcoins are, for example, from some malware or some scam activity. You are completely right. But this verification is done only by few exchanges. So I'm more than sure that if you receive some Bitcoins from such illegal activity, you can easily mix this service using, for example, mixing services I mentioned in my presentation, or you can try to use XMR.2, which is fully working mixing service, and I'm more than sure that don't do any verification of Bitcoin, so they don't have any blacklist or whitelist. So it's technically definitely possible.
Time is left, so if we want to continue, maybe in a smaller group, and just to start collecting the light.
Okay, so thank you a lot for coming here, and I would like strongly invite you to Hackers Congress Paralelnipolis during the first October weekend. So thank you a lot, and come to Prague.